we meet an artist who did unique art in Johannesburg inner city. What did you study?
I studied photography and art and social entrepreneurship, all over a span of 20 years. And I've implemented it in various stages and started working with all of that together.
Initially, you did photography. When and why did you move on to sculpting?
During the recession, 2008 and 9, I had very little photographic work, and I thought I really still wanted to work with stone. So I started translating photographs into pixelated stone artworks, and that gave me the in on the public art and then into the visual art scene.
How would you define your art?
On a conceptual level, I try and change people's perceptions about things. So it's usually in a public space. I would consider what makes sense in that site. And that would be the first thing that I decide how I'm going to approach an artwork. It has to make sense logically, what's going on, and then that informs the material, what I'm using. It informs the message that I'm trying to portray. Everything becomes related to it.
What is the story around Hawk here?
Hawk here is a mosaic that Wits commissioned. Dilip Menon from the Indian Studies Department wanted an iconic public artwork for his new building in 2011. And at the time we started talking about the South African-India relation because he was from there. And we decided on an image of a hawker. And Dilip immediately responded to the irony of the work that in Braamfontein, hawkers aren't allowed to sit on the pavement. They're allowed in the inner city, but not there. And it was right next to a no hawking sign. And he just really wanted to bring the parody into the artwork.
What material do you use?
I love using natural materials, and I'm very focused to create awareness around industry waste. So for instance, I've recently made a piece in a forest, and it's a sustainable forest in Sweden. And the actual artwork's made of the second grade wood that was just going to go for chipping anyway. So the material's often wood or stone or something natural, but that's gone through some kind of a industry process.
We're here in Fordsburg, where one of her famous pieces can be seen.
Ouma Grootjie is 'n kunswerk wat ek in 2009 begin werk het aan. Dit was my eerste publieke kunswerk. Ek het gehoor by my ouma dat my ouma Grootjie het getou gestaan vir kos hier in Fordsburg na die Suid-Afrikaanse oorlog in 1901 en ek het net gedink ek wil daai plek weer gaan visit en 'n werk van haar maak en dan begin dit 'n dialoog vorm van daar af. People respond to that work specifically reminiscing about their own family histories within the city. And that's great because it cuts across race. It becomes a de-racialized conversation, which I encourage. Vim is an engraving. It's an artwork that I did last year. I had a dream about my brother And when we grew up, there were some tricky times growing up as a teenager, and apartheid was really weird and very dark. So the dream was that. And at the time, I've done a whole series of works that relates to my family. And at the time, I just thought I'd really like to do an engraving about him. And this is the way that he appeared in the dream.
What makes a good artist?
The most important part of being an artist is that you've got to be an independent thinker, and you've got to be able to speak about what it is that you are on about and why you're thinking independently from other people. And then on top of that, you've got to work really hard. You've got to work really long hours. It's not an on-off switch. It's not like a job. It's a lifestyle. So you've got to just, you live it, and that becomes your work, and the process is the result of it.